Guys, for the last video today that I'm going to do, we're going to talk about measurement. Before we had to leave, we talked about length and height. We mentioned weight, but we hadn't gotten fully into it yet. As a reminder for you, length is how long or short something is. For instance, your shoe, how long is your shoe or how long is your foot? Um, when we're talking about height, we're talking about how tall or short something is. Like a tree, how tall is a tree? It's pretty tall. Um, when we talk about weight, weight is different because you have to look at the item and you have to feel the item. Okay, so it's not just visual. It's not just looking at something and saying, oh, this is longer or shorter or taller or shorter. You have to feel the object and weigh it. An object could be light or it could be heavy. For example, a leaf in a basket is light and a car in a basket is pretty heavy. Um, I don't think a car would fit in a basket, but maybe it's a small toy car. Either way, the car is heavier. The only way to tell that is to feel it. Um, Now, sometimes there are obvious things such as um, a basket in a house. The house is much, much larger and would be much heavier. So you can use the size of the object to help you identify the object that is heavier. So to start off, we're going to look at things that are light and things that are heavy, and we're going to compare them. Remember that word compare, where you look at two items and talk about how they're the same or different. We are going to compare the size, the weight of the item, and see which one is heavier, and we'll circle the one that's heavier. So if we look at this picture right here, I have a basket and a house. If you think about a basket, you can hold it in your hand. It's pretty light. Think about a house. You're probably sitting in one or an apartment, and you probably couldn't pick it up, could you? No. So if we think about weight, which one would be heavier? We would say the house is heavier. Okay. If we look at the next picture here, we are comparing the weight of kid and a truck. If you think about yourself as a child, you don't weigh too much. You're easy to pick up for an adult. Do you think your mom or dad could pick up a truck that you see driving on the freeway? Probably not, because that truck is very, very heavy. It's very, very large. So if we are comparing the two, we would say that the truck is heavier than the child or the kid. So we'll circle that guy. If we're looking at this final picture here, I drew a picture of a tree and a picture of a piece of candy. If you look outside your window, you might see a tree. If you do see a tree, you can see that that tree is way too heavy and way too big for you to pick up. But we've had candy in class before and you've seen it in your hand, so you know that you can hold the candy. Which one has to be heavier? The tree. Because the tree, you can't pick up, you can't hold it. Not everything that is heavier will be something that you're not able to pick up. For example, I have two different cups here. I have a Gatorade cup, a bottle, and a mug for my coffee. My coffee mug is much heavier. It's made out of glass than this plastic Gatorade bottle is. So when you're looking at weight, sometimes it's not going to be that you can't hold it. It's just how the item feels in your hand. But for these examples, we did all items that were much, much too large to hold in our hands. In your packets, you guys should have a worksheet on comparing weights of items. It may not be that one. It's probably more this guy here, where you're looking at it and choosing which item is heavier and drawing an X on the item that's not as heavy or that's lighter. For the first one, it looks pretty much like the same. But for the second one, we have a harmonica and a guitar. A harmonica is pretty small. So which one would be bigger? Which one would be heavier? The guitar would be heavier. Then on the back, you've got a watermelon and a seed or a raisin there. Watermelons are much heavier than seeds are, so we would circle our watermelon and X out the seed. You can take a look at the other ones on your own and give those a try. Then afterwards, take a look at describing all three of these that we've just talked about. Think about length, height, and weight all together as ways to measure items. If we really round this all out together as one whole unit, we can say that measurement comes in three forms: length, height, and weight. You can look at an item and tell its length, height, and weight, and describe it by those properties. That is what we call a property. Length, height, and weight is a way to measure an object and tell more information about it. So when you are describing an object using length, height, and weight is a great way to expand on, maybe if you're writing a sentence, you could describe that. It's a good way to expand what you're saying and what you're writing about. So practice those worksheets on heavier and lighter objects. I would like for you at home to try finding two objects, one that is heavy and one that is light, and then drawing a picture of it and talking about what you notice in terms of its weight, length, and height. Have fun!